Okay, this is Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. I'm Les Winston, and the subject today is taxes schmaxes. That's what my mother said when I approached her with my brother, who's also a very world-renowned financial planner. We both attacked her one day, and we said, look, Ma, you got to do some planning to avoid estate taxes. We don't want to pay estate taxes. I know that we don't, we want to talk about those things, but it's coming up in our conversations all the time because you've been very wise with your investments. You've accumulated all this money, and now something happened to you. We don't want to get stuck paying the government a lot of money. And she said, taxes, schmaxes, I don't care. I love the government. I want to give them the money that I think I owe them for what they did for me when I came to this country. Well, that's great. I've done a survey, and over all my over 30 years of experience in financial planning, I did a survey of all the people I've talked to, and very few, in fact, I would say that 99% of the people, 99.9% of the people that I speak to never want to pay tax. They don't like paying taxes. And now we're getting to that time of year. Tax day is 15th of April, and a lot of people don't pay their tax on that day. They wait and they get an extension. And most people are also, going about getting all the receipts and figuring out what they're going to do with it and how they're going to put all of it together in the shoebox and bring it to their accountant or to whoever's doing their tax return, and that's how people are doing their taxes. And then they get they look forward to that like the worst thing that ever happened to them during the year. And the weird thing about it is that taxes, and it's a very big part of everybody's cost of living is taxes. Whether it's I just paid my real estate tax, that's a big bite. Whether you're paying tax when you buy anything at a store, you're paying 6, 7%, 10% in some places sales tax. You're never free of the tax. And I'm not an advocate for no tax. We need taxes to support the things that we need to pay for. The governments need tax dollars to be able to support what their services are. And that's how we operate. That's what the country is all about. We have governments that need to be supported, and they need to be supported by tax dollars. The question is, do you have to pay more than the law extracts? And you don't have to pay what you don't have to pay, and that's one of the decisions that was made by an appellate court justice, a very famous the Honorable Learned Hand, who said that you're not duty-bound to pay the most tax that the law extracts. You have the right and privilege to reduce your taxes as much as legally possible. And so we were pleading with my mom to cut the taxes. She didn't have to pay those taxes. We didn't have to leave those taxes behind for us. And but she chose not to. You can choose to, and you have a lot of ways that you can do that. And I met with some very nice folks, a young couple that is very fortunate to have a very, very successful business, and their tax bite is something they don't want to deal with. They are in the highest tax bracket. They're in the 37% tax bracket for the top dollars that they make, and that's a lot to pay from your hard-earned work. So we've been talking about how you can reduce those taxes, and there are a lot of ways to do it. There are ways that the government has given us that you need to know how to take advantage of. In this particular situation, it's already after the year is over, so there's not much that we can do with regard to creating charitable tax deductions, but there are some things that you can do, and one of the things is recommended is use the qualified plans. Make sure that you're maximizing what you can do with your qualified plans, like your IRAs or your SEP IRAs or simple IRAs or pension plans or profit sharing plans, 401k. They all fall into that bailiwick of the tax sheltered qualified plans that employers can create. And so with this couple in particular, they didn't have any other employees, and they had significant earnings, and they could take up to 25%. This is a very important number. They could take 25% of their earnings up to a maximum of $61,000 as a contribution to a protected tax plan called a SEP IRA. And the SEP IRA allows them to create a retirement fund that they can invest wherever they want and build that for retirement purposes. And it's being done with pre-tax dollars. And that's really important because when they did that, they lowered the tax bracket from 37% all the way down to 27 or 28%. And that's a big difference on the top dollar of tax. So if you don't know how to do this, of course you can't. And you need to have a way to deal with it. And endowment engineering is a new concept that we've coined for what we're doing, and that's endowment engineering using tax dollars, changing the tax dollar into spendable dollar. And that's how we actually created the terminology called social security. And social security is a really powerful way for you to use sections of the tax code that you may not be familiar with and help you reduce your taxes so that you don't have the taxes schmaxes issue that I had with my mom. You can reduce income tax, estate tax, and capital gains tax. And my friend Wanda Miles has written a book called Social Security. The book is about the Social Security process. And it's great news right now to celebrate Tax Day from April 11th to the 15th. You can get Social Security for free on Amazon. Don't miss your chance to unlock the secrets of a brighter financial future and a more socially conscious society without spending a dime. Get ready to transform your retirement and make a positive impact on the world with this limited time offer. Now on Amazon. We will post a link to this on the bottom of the video. But go to Amazon and you get your free copy of Social Security, and that's between April 11th and April 15th.
We've got best-selling authors.
You are going to start to uncover all the layers that are covering your genius.
And some of the world's top leadership experts.
We have structured a mastermind program that is very unusual and it is very powerful.
Robin Sharma at noon.
Your creativity will soar, your productivity will be epic, your impact will be legendary. You will be the best in the business and you will not only achieve remarkable things, but you're going to feel sunsets. You'll feel a connection to people. You'll feel for what's going on in the world. And that will make you a world changer in your own unique way.
Robin Sharma at noon at 4 p.m.
It's a
Blaine Bartlett.
Exploration of what it takes to be a highly effective leader in today's fast-changing environment.
Best-selling author, executive, and leadership coach.
And if you've been liking what you've been listening to on these Soul of Business podcasts, how does one become a leader that can keep connection to the soul of business?
Blaine Bartlett at 4 p.m.
Look forward to seeing you there.
At Route664.org. This is Route 664 Radio.
So for many years, I had a program here in Miami called Funny Money. Funny Money was based on the premise that everybody has funny money in their holdings, in their income. That funny money is the tax dollar or the charitable dollar. And the reason we call it Funny Money, I was playing Monopoly with my nephew. If you know the game of Monopoly, the idea is to travel around the board and you get land on properties, buy the properties, build houses, build hotels, and then charge rent to the people that you're playing against. And hopefully you get all the money and you bankrupt them. That's the idea of that game. And so my nephew had all the money. And I said to him, "What are you going to do with that money?" He said, "What can I do with it, Uncle Les?" I said, "Well, you got to put it back in the box." He said, "Why is that?" I said, "Because you can't spend that on anything. It's funny money. You can't go to the store with that and say I'd like some milk, or they're going to look at you like you're crazy." And then I thought about that for a second, and I said, suppose I gave you 25 cents of real money for every dollar of that funny money. How much would you give me? He said, "I'll give it all to you." And that's what everybody always says because they're getting something for nothing. What people don't recognize is that's what we have in our tax code today. We have the ability to turn tax dollars into spendable money. And that's what we did with this idea of the SEP IRA that we recommended to this couple that had very large taxable income, and they wanted to reduce their income. And they were what they did was they converted tax dollars, which they would have given to the government, and controlled those tax dollars and put them into something that's going to produce income for them. And income is what it's all about. When I talk about, sometimes we talk about when we charitable giving, we're talking about giving away an asset. And everybody goes, "Oh, I don't want to give away the asset because I may need it. I may need it for this. I may need it for that." And I think it's a legitimate question to ask, do we want to give away our assets while we still may need them for something in the future? And the answer to that is maybe, because it depends on where you are. I was learning the game of canasta with my wife, and the game of canasta it's a little bit confusing about what you do in certain situations. Every time I'd ask a question, the teacher said the same thing to me. She said, depends on where you are in the game. And that's what this is really all about. It depends on where you are in the game. You individually are in the game of life. What we want you to learn from Social Security and from the Endow America network, and the fact that Endow America is attempting to change the way the whole system operates by increasing the amount of endowment. We want you to learn that because it's an important step in the process of your own financial well-being. And using the services of advisors who know how to do that work is very important. Endowment engineering is the key. How do you engineer your own endowment and then the endowment that you're going to pass on in the future, whether it's to your heirs or to the community? And that's your choice. You have a lot of choices to make, and those choices are based on what's available. And if you don't know what's available, that's a problem. And that's why it's important to work with an endowment engineer to help you learn about that. We have, right now we're operating two websites. We have socialsecurity.org, which is our old website, which you can still find up, and also the new website, which is endowamerica.com. Endowamerica.com is in the process of being constructed, but it can be seen, it can be reached, and you can actually watch the construction as it's going on. There's information on there as well about Social Security and the power of Social Security to reduce income tax, reduce estate tax, reduce capital gains tax, and also to increase income. That's the whole point of what we're all about with Endow America. We want to endow America using tax dollars that would ordinarily go to the government and restructuring those and sending them into the community. But first, we want to use those for ourselves. So the question about giving away an asset, giving it away permanently so that you can't ever use it for your support, is the question. And in the cases where people have adequate assets, that is a part of it. The main issue is actually getting income, creating an income stream that's sufficient for you to survive and you to thrive and to live the way you want to live and have the life that you want. That's what everybody really is all about. If you had all the income that you needed, you wouldn't worry about what the assets are. And so when you can change what is a tax dollar into an income dollar, that's a powerful transition. And that's a kind of alchemy that we have when we work with Social Security devices. And when the endowment engineer looks at your own situation and decides how that's going to work out, how are you going to be able to maximize the income, reduce the taxes, and make everything work for yourself and your family and what you want to do for your own legacy in the community. That's important. We think that people do have good feelings. That's why this is called the Road to Human Kindness. The Road to Human Kindness is paved with these good feelings that people have, that they want to help others. If they can help themselves at the same time, that's really a win-win situation. And the government actually wins. It's not just you as the income recipient or the tax avoider. The government is happier because that's what they did this about. They created these devices to make the communities less reliant on government and to have more opportunity for the communities to support themselves without having to rely so heavily on taxes. And that's a big benefit. When you arrive at a point where you need to avoid taxes, and there are a lot of different places where that occurs. If you have real estate, if you own some valuable real estate that's not producing enough income, and you don't want to make it an exchange to another piece of real estate, and you don't want to be in a real estate business any longer, you can use the Social Security devices to eliminate that process, to change that process and do it without a tax window. This is what we are. This is what Endow America is about. What Social Security is about is endowing America using the Social Security devices and helping. You get help for that from your endowment engineers. And you'll find the Society of Endowment Engineers. That will be prominently on our website at endowamerica.com. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, it's Charity here. Philanthropy meets financial gains in the inspiring space of donor-advised funds. Tax Code 664 provides a perfect opportunity to both reduce taxable income and make charitable contributions through real estate donations. For donors, liquidating difficult-to-sell property while providing valuable assistance to nonprofits is made easier using this tax code. Heirs can benefit as well. So whether you're trying to save money or help your favorite organization aid its mission statement, look no further than giving creatively under Tax Code 664 for beneficial results all around.
Also, don't forget, we have great news for you that between April 11th to the 15th, you can get Social Security for free on Amazon. Don't miss your chance to unlock the secrets of a brighter financial future and a more socially conscious society without spending a dime. Get ready to transform your retirement and make a positive impact on the world with this limited time offer now on Amazon. Go to Amazon and buy or get it for free, Social Security by Wanda Miles, my sidekick. We deal with tax planning. As an endowment engineer, I am very, very keen on how you can avoid taxes. When Justice Brandeis, one of the Supreme Court justices, Brandeis, used to teach tax law at, I think it was the university in Washington, D.C., and a student asked him a question, said, what is the difference between tax evasion and tax avoidance? And Justice Brandeis said to him, well, he says, I live outside of the Washington, D.C. hub. He says, in the mornings when I'm in a hurry to go to the Supreme Court, I go across a toll bridge. And the toll bridge is the fastest way for me to get from where I live to the center of Washington, D.C., where I need to work. On days where I have the luxury of a little extra time, he says, I drive a little bit outside the city and I go across a free bridge where there's no toll, and that takes me to the Supreme Court, but it takes me a little longer to get there. Now, if I go across the toll bridge and I don't put my money into the basket, I am evading a tax, and for that I should be punished. But if I take the time and drive to the other bridge, which was actually put there for this purpose, to alleviate traffic, if I drive to the other bridge and I don't have to pay a tax and I go to the Supreme Court from there, that's tax avoidance. And for that, I should be commended because I'm actually doing something good for the community. The problem is that most people don't know that the free bridge exists. They only go across the toll bridge. And that's what people kind of get into that mode with regard to taxation, that the taxes are automatic almost. It's like Chris Rock said, you know, you don't pay taxes, they take taxes. And that's what it is. They are taking your tax dollars and they're making you pay the tax dollars, and people sometimes just, they give up and don't care about it. And that's what we're trying to change. We want you to care about those tax dollars because you can convert them into usable dollars. Even if it's when you're dealing with the qualified plan concept. And by the way, with April 15th right around the corner, you can still use qualified tax deduction for last year in the form of IRAs or SEP IRAs or simple IRAs. You still have the time to do that until you file your tax return, even to the time you take your extension. So you need to know that you can avoid tax now for last year. Now, with regard to this current year, to 24, if you're earning a lot of money in 2024 and you see that you're going to need some tax relief, that you want to change your tax bracket, lower your tax bracket, you want to avoid a capital gains tax on something that you may be selling this year, you got to do something about it before the end of the year. You can't wait until next year to make the change that's going to create the tax savings. You have to do things before December 31st this year in order to make the tax savings work. And that means you need to have some advice and you need to find ways to do that. Endowment engineer is a skilled, it's a very, very interesting skill set in the fact that they know all about the sections of the tax code that we're talking about with regard to Social Security, that these are in addition to the ones that you know about with regard to qualified, that you may know about qualified plans like a 401k. Everybody knows what a 401k is because it's been in the common language for a long time. What people don't know about is 664 and Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness, where we talk about 664. We want you to we want you to know what that number is. That's a very important number in planning. And endowment engineers know how to use that section of the tax code. It's plan, prosper, and pass on. Use the power of 664. That's what you'll be able to accomplish. So you need to be able to reach out to advisors that can help your own advisors, that help your own accountant, your CPA, your tax attorney, whoever you work with. When you're doing your overall planning, you have advisors that you rely on, and those advisors should be helping you do this kind of planning. If they're not doing it, they can find out more about it, and we certainly welcome them to visit our websites, to go to socialcharity.org or endowamerica.com while they're both up, and see how they can possibly help you avoid your own tax issues. And we can help. Endowment engineers can help them by providing blueprints that they can use to help solve some of these problems. You can decide on the blueprint yourself. You know, if you want to build a house, you can't do it without blueprints. So this is a financial house that we're building. It's your own financial endowment house, the one that's going to take care of you for a long time, the one that you need to have the maximum amount of income in. Anytime you got to pay tax, it reduces your income. Anytime you grow something and you have to pay tax, it reduces your income. You know, the government, it's like, I went to the supermarket and they had, if you've ever gone in there when the apples are just coming into season, the smell of the apple is so amazing to me. So I take an apple and I'm eating the apple on the way to the counter, and I tell the lady at the checkout counter, don't forget to count the apples. She says, no, it's all right. We'll pass on that. But meanwhile, every time I take a bite of the apple, it reminds me about the government taking bites from us, the tax bites. They take the tax bite when you earn it. They take a tax bite when you grow it. And even when you pass on, they take the tax. The Beatles became very successful and started earning a lot of money. And eventually they got to the point where they were so unhappy with the tax that they actually wrote The Tax Man. And, in The Tax Man, the lyric is, that's one for you, one for me, 19 for you, because I'm the tax man. Yeah, the tax man. That's what they were so upset about it. They had to let everybody else know about it, that you got to do some things to change the way taxes are dealt with. And you have the power and you have the absolute right to do that. This is Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness.
You ever just want to tune out the world and relax? Then you've come to the right place. At Route664.org, we've got great music that will keep you entertained for hours and uplifting conversation that will make you feel good about yourself and the world. So come on in and take a load off. We won't judge here. Route664.org.
Get the app. The app is great. The music is great. The station is really terrific. We have a very large segment of the station in the sense that we're doing all of our interviews replay at the top of the hour generally, and there's a lot of other information on there with regard to Social Security and 664, and getting into that concept, getting into that idea, learning how to endow America, endow yourself, endow whatever nonprofit organizations you want to endow. Those are important things for us to be considering, and the radio station is a great place to start. Get the app. It's Route 664 Radio. Route 664 Radio. You can go to it on Apple and Android. And again, don't forget, Wanda Miles, my wonderful sidekick, has written a book called Social Charity and how Section 664 saved the Alpha generation, its retirement, and the nation. And that's the power of Social Charity. Working with an endowment engineer, finding an endowment engineer on our website at endowamerica.com, endowamerica.com. will help you to improve your own planning process. You may not be in a situation where you need to do that, but I can tell you right now that if you have taxes that you're looking at in the future that you're not happy about paying, which, like most people I said, are not happy, then you need to find a way to solve that problem using what the government has given us. And they were very, very, very smart. All the way back in 1969 when they passed these sections of the tax code that allow you to increase your spendable income, reduce your taxes during your lifetime if you promise to do something at your death for charity. And that's a very simple equation. Most people don't know that that exists. And so we are trying to bring it to light with Section 664 and the whole concept of Route 664, the Route to Human Kindness, and everything that we're doing to enhance the knowledge of the country's tax-paying public. We want to inform the taxpayers. There are two types of taxpayers in the country, the informed and the uninformed. If you're uninformed, you need to be informed because there are ways that you can do you can do more with the money than pay taxes. And again, I wish my own mom had done that when I had appealed to her. But she said taxes schmaxes. She's the 1% out of the 100% that didn't mind paying tax. I understand that, and there's probably a lot of other people. So if you don't want to pay tax, understand also that when you do give something away, you are giving it away permanently, that you're making an irrevocable gift that produces income and tax savings. And the question is whether or not you can deal with that, whether or not you can afford to give away the asset. My feeling is that if you're going to spend your assets down, if you're going to spend principal, then what's happening is you're creating a diminishing return over time. And that is a consideration. The other thing is, if you're invested in real estate, again, you're tying up money, so you really don't have the liquid asset unless you do some things that are necessary, like you'd have to borrow against it. You certainly can't sell any bricks. So it's not unusual to tie up an asset. And that's what Social Security is. If you think about it from the standpoint of what is tied up in Social Security, it's all the money that you've put in over your lifetime. You can't attack that money. You can't go into it and say, I'd like a loan. You can't go into it and say, I need that to spend on something that I want to buy right now. That's money that you've put in. And the thing about Social Security is if you were to reach retirement age in one day and you don't have a family and you pass away, all that money that you put into Social Security disappears into the government's ether. With Social Charity, all the money that you put into that during your lifetime doesn't disappear. It's directed where you want it to go. And that is the biggest difference between Social Security and Social Charity. Both given to us by the government, both totally and 100% legal, both accounted for, both have the direction and filings that are necessary to make them legitimate. And people don't use Social Charity, but they have to use Social Security. So it's not a question of whether you want to pay your Social Security taxes, the government takes them. And this is a problem that we will have to deal with at some point in the not too distant future. And we think that the solution is actually Social Charity. And again, my good friend Wanda has written the book, Social Charity. You can get it free on Amazon between April 11th and the 15th. And learn how to do things more intelligently with your assets. Find out the ways that you can improve your own personal security going forward, and that's endowing yourself properly, making sure you have enough income to live on. Use an endowment engineer to help you and your advisors to do a better job, and we can all endow America. We'll be with you again, same time, same station next week. Have a great week.